FM 94, The Dark, JC hanging out with you here, and it is that time. It's a Wednesday night. That means it's time to get to know another band we play here on The Dark. And on the phone right now, I'm talking with the lead singer of a band called I Exist, and we're talking with Brian. And Brian, first of all, I'll bring you in. How you doing? You're in Indianapolis right now. Am I correct on that?
That's right, man. Hanging out down here in Indy, and it's good to be on the phone with you guys, for sure.
Hey, the Indy 500's just around the corner, too. Is that a pretty big deal there?
Oh, it's huge, man. Yeah, and actually we moved to the west side here, so here at the band house, I literally could hear the cars going around the track just the other morning, man, so it's pretty wild.
I suppose they're already tuning up, getting ready for that big race coming up on Memorial Day weekend.
That's exactly right, and well, it's cool when we travel around. That's kind of the only thing that people know about Indiana, which is pretty great. I mean, at least we're on the map.
It's funny because last week I was talking with Hugo from Tantric, and he's from Louisville, so we were talking about the Kentucky Derby, which was last week.
Yeah.
What's the big thing, I guess, for Indianapolis? Obviously, in Kentucky, you know, for the Kentucky Derby is the hats. That's the big craze. What big craze happens down there with the Indianapolis 500? Is there anything like that, or?
I mean, so if the Kentucky Derby has hats and class, we've got rednecks with beards and camouflage shorts. we drink a lot of beer, and it gets pretty crazy down there in Speedway, but it's a good time.
Hey, let's get to know a little bit more about the band I Exist. What's the history of this band, Brian?
Yeah, so we've been a band for about 7 years now here in Indianapolis. Trying to make moves, trying to get to the point where we can go on the road full time, and we're finally here on this next step. But it's pretty long road for sure. How
did the band I Exist all come about?
Yeah, so we wanted to create something kind of different. We wanted to have a rock band, but to have some metal influences and to have some kind of new age electronic influences. And it was a little hard to describe, so I ended up writing this like a demo that I put online, and there was this website called IndianapolisMusic.net. So we kind of used the internet, found each other, and actually found Cameron just through word of mouth, and now here we are, rocking out.
The name is always something I'm interested in, and the origin of it. Why the name I Exist, and where did it come from, and how did it all come about?
Yeah, no, great question. You try to think of a huge band name. What's a phrase or what's one word that you could say and instantly start looking like inside yourself, start thinking about big, philosophical life questions, and without having some huge phrase, like what's some one word? So we figured I Exist could be something kind of like a statement that you say to yourself without maybe even realizing it, and you're like, whoa, wait, I am alive. So.
Now, I was tipped off by you guys from Barry Lyons, which has done a lot of, I think, great promoting for you already, which is good.
Absolutely.
And he was telling me originally you guys, and I mentioned guys, you actually were a 4-piece band, but now you've gone down to a duo.
Right. So this has been the biggest evolution of the band so far. To take everything on the road full time, to travel, the U.S. and hopefully the world here, we had to figure something out because our guitar player and bass player, they couldn't make it. They've got jobs and family back home, and we've got a lot of love for those guys, and it's all good, but we had to figure it out. So what we ended up doing was we took all the technology around us, and we literally turned the guys into holograms. So we have a hologram guitar player and a hologram bass player, and it's been crazy and cool at the same time.
Yeah, explain this to me a little bit more and to our listeners. We're talking with Brian from the band I Exist, and obviously you've been on tour, but like you mentioned, it's just you and one other guy that are out there, and obviously you got to complete the band, but you're using holograms, so obviously you're using some visual stuff. How does this work, and how is the reaction of the people that are coming to these concerts?
The reaction's pretty great, and that's one thing I really like about it. It's the state of rock music. I feel like bands, it's kind of our responsibility to bring a show or bring the music that, or hopefully both, that people haven't really experienced before. And this hologram stuff is crazy, but it's something new. And I don't know. I feel like when people come out to a rock show and they see something new, hopefully they're inspired. Hopefully they're excited to take pictures and put them online and show their friends. And it's pretty cool dynamic so far.
Brian, did you come up with that concept, or who did?
Yeah, I did. Well, it was funny. Right when we kind of figured out what we had to do, that we had to go down to a two-piece. We went to this bar around the corner here, and we had a few beers. And like, well, we already have these projector screens. We already have this thing. What if we just turned it into, I don't know, some crazy performance? So we ended up taking all of December and all of January. We set up this green screen in our basement and literally shot this crazy special effects for each song. And we added all sorts of production on top of it, and it was a lot of work, but I feel like it paid off for sure.
Wow, it's cool. Yeah, obviously, you mentioned the green screen, so you could actually have a future if this band thing doesn't work out. Maybe in being a weather guy, huh?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good idea, man. It's too cold up in Minnesota. That's what we'll be like. It's cold up here. It's hot down here. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
So, you came up with this concept. So, for me, I would have never thought of that because my brain doesn't think that well. Are you kind of a techie kind of geek a little or not? I mean,
yeah, I try to have like a balance between technology and creativity and trying to bring the two things together. We've got a music video for Giving My Life, and I got a lot of experience. I did all the special effects on that. I teamed up with our producer guy who shot the video, and I ended up doing a bunch of crazy effects on it. And it's always a learning process. It's always something new to pick up because there's always somewhere else to go. But it's a lot of fun for sure.
Also, we're talking with Brian from the band I Exist. The other thing, too, that surprised me right away, you guys are pretty new, young, but you already came out with a 4-volume concept album. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the biggest thing we've done. Every release that we do, and we haven't done many, we try to one-up it, so we've had this, you could look at it as a problem, but it's like we have to keep upping the ante. And for us, we like to have this really big sound. And this Humanity thing it kind of created itself. It has a voice actor, so we got this voice actor from here in Indianapolis. His name's Adam Crow. He talks about this story of humanity, and it kind of goes up and down. And we had every release was with each season of the year. So it was 4 volumes, one for spring, one for summer, one for fall, and one for winter. And it tells a story, and it's kind of a little bit of an investment. But for people that listen to the entire thing, I'm pretty stoked when I hear that because that means hopefully it sticks with them.
All right, we're going to get to know you a little bit more. I got about 5 questions here, so bear with me. Here's question number 1. What's in your music collection that might shock me?
Wow, that's going to shock you. There's this the hip hop guy called The Weeknd. He produces a lot of stuff for Drake and a lot of like modern hip hop stuff, but he's bringing like a really cool ambient vibe to hip hop, and I've been really into that. It's kind of like a Michael Jackson thing, like a new Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I just noticed too. Michael Jackson and Justin Timberlake got something going on now too. So
is that right?
Oh yeah, that's on the radio now too. So go figure. They can make anything happen,
No, that's the truth too.
Just like you guys with 2 band members that aren't even there, right?
Anything's possible.
Hey, what current band in active rock do you like?
Oh man, I mean, I'll tell you a band that's coming up right now. Out of Ohio, there's a band called Starset, and I'm not sure how big they are. Yeah, hopefully you guys are spinning them. Those guys are extremely cool. They played our Volume 3 release show here in Indiana, and they're doing the kind of the same things that we're doing in a way, in that you try to make something incredibly unique. At least we hope to live up to their standards. Man, it's pretty phenomenal. Their stage show. They have this epic music video for a song called My Demons. Starset, active rock, killing the game.
Yeah, actually, we spin them here nightly, so absolutely. They are a very, very good band, and like you said, you've had a chance to play with them, hang out with them. I haven't had that, but what I've heard from them, I think they're going to do very well in the future.
Absolutely.
Hey, how about here's a question I like to ask, and this one normally stumps a lot of people. Now, you guys don't have a huge volume of music out there yet, but what artist would you like to cover one of your songs?
Oh, wow. That's kind of cool. Who would play an I Exist song?
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's a good one. I mean, I saw what A Perfect Circle did with that whole emotive thing. That was really great.
Mm-hmm.
You'd hope to have someone just totally recreate it, because no one wants to cover a song the exact same way.
Right.
Band, we got so much respect for bands like Muse and Tool and 30 Seconds to Mars. But if they covered one of our songs, we'd feel retarded because we're not worthy, man.
Well, maybe is there somebody out of the industry, out of at least the active rock side of things, maybe even in the pop genre that you would like, or who knows, rap? Who knows?
Yeah, no, man, absolutely. I'll throw back to The Weeknd because that guy is
okay.
He's killing it. He's got this ambient thing going on, and I feel like we could implement that and have it make sense with our stuff. But tough question. I'll have to think about that one.
Yeah, it's all right. That's something to think about down the road, right?
Absolutely.
Hey, we're talking with Brian from the band I Exist. We're going to talk about their new song in just a moment. Got a couple more other questions to get to know you a little bit. Ultimate three-band bill. You're in charge of it's I Exist along with two other bands. These bands can be no longer together. Maybe it's even an artist that's no longer living. Who would be those other two that you'd love to play with that night?
Wow. Yeah, no, absolutely. Here's another We're Not Worthy moment. I mean, for me, Tool is the de facto band. They're for what they bring to the table, not just musically, but lyrically, spiritually, whatever you want to call what their magic juice is. For me, that is it. And if we're going back to the history books, I'll throw this one out for Cameron, our drummer. I mean, Tool and Pink Floyd would be a mind blow. And then if we played, we'd just, we'd play some songs, be like, hey, thanks, guys. Okay, music starts now. That would be pretty amazing.
The reason I ask that question always is kind of what influenced you as a kid or younger, and obviously those must be some bands that influenced you. I
would say so. Me just as a songwriter, and as when I was in high school starting to play guitar, Nirvana was the start. Nirvana, Pearl Jam. Mm-hmm. Those are the roots for me, and I think that still comes across in our kind of alternative rock style at times, but but not quite as grungy as those days. But I think there's a spirit that kind of lives on. Hey,
I don't know how much radio play you've gotten yet. You're played on our airwaves. How much other radio play have you gotten so far?
We're still hustling. We're on Octane on Sirius XM, so
absolutely
they're giving us a lot of love over there. They're rocking us out here in Indianapolis every once in a while, but hey, we got a lot of work to do, and we're so stoked that you guys are playing our songs. So we really, really appreciate it.
So the next question, I don't know if this has actually happened yet, but have you heard your song on the radio yet?
Have heard it, not on like the satellite radio or anybody else's. We've heard it here in Indiana.
Okay,
this would be the first time.
What does it mean to hear that on the radio? To you,
it's everything. We were just talking about the other day with. I remember growing up in high school back in the cassettes days. Not to show my age, but I was hitting the record button, calling into the radio station hotline, requesting songs and to be the band that's actually on there is everything. It's pretty amazing.
We're talking with Brian. He's the lead singer of the band I Exist. They have a new song called out, which we're spinning here on the Dart, called "Giving My Life." What's the meaning behind this song?
Yeah. They say some songs kind of write themselves, and this was one of those songs. It was one of those birthday moments where you're like, man, I'm getting old. But then you just kind of reflect on where you're at, and you think about all the memories and stuff you've had. And for me, it was just, just a pretty cool moment where you're lucky to still be here. It's a big blessing to be able to have a chance to keep on rocking, man. So in so many ways. So it's just a cool, reflective moment.
You mentioned rocking, and obviously you had just come off a tour not too long ago. How about future tours? Are you planning those yet?
Oh, absolutely. We've got a lot of big announcements coming up soon. Just got off a full 2 months, so on the road straight. So that was the biggest run we've ever done. But that was me and Cameron. We're in the van. We were living out of the van and doing some couch surfing stuff, and a lot of big announcements coming up soon. But we would love to get up to Minnesota, man, and rock out for you guys. And
that's the thing about you. You're a band that's an up-and-coming band, so it's not like you're living the life of a normal rock star, are you?
Well, I mean, it depends how you look at it.
Well, that's true.
A lot of rocker guys are doing that. I think I've heard a lot of people say lately, they say a lot of people want to be in the rock band, but they don't want to live the rock life.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's something that Cameron and I, we've already been ready for. And, we're ready to get dirty and be hungry and work hard. So it's all good for us.
All right. How can the fans here on The Dark get more information about the band I Exist?
Absolutely. So search online, one word, I Exist Band. You can throw that on Google, you can throw that on YouTube, on Facebook. We've got our Giving My Life music video that we'd be stoked for everyone to see. But, yeah, if you just search I Exist Band, pretty much everywhere, Twitter, Instagram, you'll find us.
All right. What would you like to say in closing here to those fans out there and maybe new fans?
Absolutely. We got love for you guys up in Minnesota, man. FM 94 we really appreciate you having us on, and we'd love to see you in person and to just feel that energy of the live show. So we'll do it soon.
Guess what, Brian? We're going to play your new song right now. Sound good?
Sounds good to me, man.
All righty, here it is. You got it. The latest from I Exist. This is called Giving My Life. It's on The Dark.